understand the layout of Premiere Pro. My goal by the end of this course is you're going to know exactly how to use it, all the tools and everything, but I know how daunting it can be right now. I think it's best if we actually open up an existing project to see how things are as we learn what all these windows and panels are. So the first thing you're going to learn how to do is how to close a project. There's different ways to do this, but we have this new project that we had created in the last lesson. You can right click it and choose close project, not close panel, but close project, or go up to file and close project. And all of these different steps and tools that I'm showing you have keyboard shortcuts. So I'm on a Mac. Pretty much anything on a PC is going to be the same keyboard shortcut. Instead of using Command though, which is this little icon right there, you're going to use Control on a PC. Or just, if it's different or you need help, it should show up here in the menu. So let's go ahead and close this project. And then we're back on this home screen. And so what we're going to do is open up the Premiere Pro course project. So if you haven't opened up that yet, go back to your supplemental resources and just double click that project. All right, so you should see something like this. If you don't see anything similar to this, make sure you let us know in the comments of the course. But you should see something like this. So let's go quick pause in the video, Phil from the future from April 2022, when Adobe Premiere Pro released a new update. You'll notice that the previous part of the video you saw doesn't look exactly like this. And I mentioned it in the previous video. I just wanted to clarify that with the new layout of the workspace, we now have this import, edit, and export tab up here that changes the workspace. And then the workspaces, which you saw at the top right here in this top bar, are found over here with this drop-down menu. You can also choose to show your workspace tabs up here, and that allows you, with this little drag-out menu, to show the workspaces in that top tab. And you can even edit your workspace and choose which panels or which workspaces to show up there if you want to edit that. So I just wanted to pop in here and just clarify that there is a difference. And if you're taking this class, you also have this cool little button right here, which is awesome because you now have a quick button to do a full screen preview of your video right here. But I just didn't want to confuse you. So back to old Phil, the rest of the panels and stuff is basically the same. Each of these panels has a different job. And it's titled in the top of the panel what it does. Some of these panels or windows have multiple tabs. So you can see here, this window right here has multiple tabs that I can click on. And if there's more than fit in this area, there will be a menu on the right-hand side, this double arrow that you can click down on and see all the other panels that are open. You can also organize the order of these panels by clicking and dragging and moving left or right depending on the order. I like to have my project panel first, and so that appears first. And some of these other panels I'm not going to even be using right now or really ever. But this first panel is the project panel. This is where we organize our footage. We add all of our assets, meaning video clips, audio, graphics. This is where we create new sequences, which are basically separate videos or timelines, and we'll be going over that in a future lesson. And you can see that I've already created folders and I've organized this project for you. So this is what it should look like for you. So this is your project organization panel. Let's actually go right. So moving to the right, you see these are all your tools. So these are different tools that you can use when editing. We'll go through those as well in the future. To the right of that is our timeline. So this is where we're actually laying down our footage, working, we're editing here, we're cutting up stuff, we're adding music, sound effects, adjusting levels, all kinds of stuff down here. You can move around the timeline right here. You put your little timeline indicator here. You can drag it, and then to play, you can press the space bar. And that's going to play this project that we've already created. So skipping over to our next panel, because there's a lot in here that we're going to learn how to do, but I don't want to get too detailed right now, is the program monitor. So up here, this is the preview of what we've already edited. So everything that we put down here in our timeline will appear up here. On the bottom of here, you have different tools for playback, rewinding, things like that. Other tools that we'll go over in the future of this class as well. And then if we move just going counterclockwise, we have this panel right here. There's a couple tabs in here that I want to show you. The source, this is if we are going through our footage or we want to preview any music or clips from our project panel, we can do that up here. To do that, you can find a clip. So these are just folders with drop downs that you can click and twirl down and then double click. And then up here, you can play through. Okay. So this is where you preview your footage before putting it down onto your timeline over on the bottom right. There's some other important tabs up here behind the source monitor, like effects controls. Now I'm not going to show you everything how this works, but if I click on, let's just find one clip to click on, maybe this one right here. So this one right here, you can see that when I click on different clips, the effects control panel changes because there might be different settings or things that are different for the different clips. So you can adjust things like the size and position of your clips. You can adjust the rotation, all kinds of stuff. And then if you add effects like color correction or any other style of effect, again, we'll go into this all in the future, you will have that up here. And you can adjust all of that. I kind of skipped over this one over here. This is your audio meter. This is just a preview of what the audio sounds is like when you are playing through your footage. So if I play through the timeline, sourdough bread loaf, and it's not too difficult. So you see that bouncing up and down. And again, in the source monitor, I skipped over this, but there's some similar tools down here as on the program monitor to play and things like that. Everything we're going to go through in the future. The only other thing I want you to understand from this lesson is how to really organize and move things around. Say you want the program monitor to be bigger. You can do that. You can hover your mouse in between any of these windows and drag, click and drag, click and drag. And so now if you want a really big program monitor, you can go that way and drag it down and make it bigger. Maybe you need more space in your program or your project monitor, rather. You can do that. You can also get rid of some of these tabs that we don't need by right-clicking and choosing Close Panel, Close Panel, Close Panel. As you saw, you can click and drag to the left to reorder them, or perhaps you want to have one of these tabs opened in a new location. Maybe here's the effects panel that we didn't cover, but this is where all of your effects are. Maybe you want to have that open all the time. So I can click, and now I'm holding it, I'm dragging it around, and you can place it. So I can place it at the bottom of this window down here, and now you see that this split this window into two. And so our original tabs are up here. Or I can take it again. Maybe I want it on the right side of the source monitor over here, like that. Maybe I want my project file panel all the way on the left side of Premiere Pro. See how it's highlighting in green now? So now it creates a whole new, basically, column over here. So play around with it. You can also always go back to the original setting by going up to Window, Workspaces, and then choose Reset to save the layout. Another thing you can do is save a layout. So for example, if there's a certain way, depending on your monitors, or if you have a dual monitor setup, and you can do that with dual monitors, you can bring one of these panels to the other window or your other screen, you could actually have the program monitor, for example, be on a separate screen totally. You can save that. And you go up to Window Workspaces, save as new workspace for that. So you see that I have one here, and this is, let me reset to save layout so you can see the difference. So this is pretty much similar to the basic editing panel or workspace. And then I have Fill 2, which is where I do add graphics and color correction and things like that. Which brings up one other point. There are panels that weren't showing in our original layout. So let me go back to the editing workspace by clicking that right there. So this is where we were originally. There are other windows that do different things like Essential Sound and Essential Graphics. So if we want to do some sound editing, we can open up that panel by clicking there and it opens up on the right. We can move it around, we can close it, all that kind of stuff, but we'll be working on this throughout the course. When there's a panel that I want to teach you or a new skill, I'll be showing you and making sure you know how to open it. For now though, I'm going to go back to Window Workspaces and reset to save layout for editing. And I want you to just play around with it and then come back to the next lesson when we're going to be doing a little bit more with organizing our footage in the project panel and then moving on to actually adding footage to our timeline.